Hi there, Angie. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Thank you for meeting with me at this time. You mentioned in last session that you were feeling a little anxious with going home for the holidays and some things with placement and work. How's that going?
I think it's feels like more of like the transition between school and finishing school and then like going home and finishing placement. So that transition of like always having something to do and then now feeling like there's still something to do when there isn't anything really to do. So I think that's been like really stressful for me. Also because I do placement and school and work all at the same time. I feel like because I'm always go, 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 it feels weird to not do anything at all. So that's like, I feel like I've been like struggling with that a lot recently.
Yeah, it's kind of like the calm after the storm almost, right?
hmm
That does that make you anxious? Is that something that stresses you out a little?
I think it, I think, yes, it does because now that everything is done, I don't have anything in my hands anymore. So it's like out of my control on like marks and like what happens and with like the deadline's approaching, like whatever mark or anything I receive, it's like that's it because I can't do anything else to change it. So that's been really scary. And then I guess the other thing is like leaving a month of placement has been very stressful just because I like the people that I support. I even today, like I met with someone, and like today's not like my placement day, but I did meet with someone, and I had to like sign a bunch of forms, and they want to get started on like their plans that because I like do support them in like passport funding and they want to buy a lot of items. I have to still be like somewhat available through email. So that's been another thing that's been stressful.
Mhm.
Um just like being like I need the break, but at the same time, this is like I've kind of have a responsibility to uphold with the people that I will support. So that's been very stressful as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a lot going on all at once, and I think it's hard when things overlap like that. Yeah, but you sound like a really important resource at your placement, and I know you've mentioned like being like really enjoying that, and that's really great. But it's also important to prioritize, like you said, that time of like what is Christmas going to be or the holidays,
hmm
like how's that going to look for you, and then still making time and like time managing how that is going to fit in, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I do. I need to learn how to put myself first in situations like this because I'm always like, even in this field, in my work, in my placement, I'm always like, okay, someone else needs me, my team needs me, or the people I support need me. And then in school, because we do a lot of group work, I'm always like, okay, so my group needs me too. So I'd rather just like go through it than like tell them that I need to take like a break. And then sometimes I get like kind of excited when my group members like, "Hey guys, like just need a bit of time to like do this," and I'm like, "Yes," even though because I'm also in that boat, but then I'm always like scared to like be the first one to
Ah,
say it.
I think that's really common in your
hmm
field, right? Is that like wanting to help people so much, and then like where do you draw the line of like before you get burnt out? And I think Christmas is like an inevitable, like you're looking forward to it, but there are some challenges that go along with it. But it also is, like you said, that much needed break. So
hmm
yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the areas that you think feel less overwhelming or less stressful to you? Like what are some things you are looking forward to over the holidays?
So this is like it should be stressful, but it's not because it is exciting at the same time. So my parents, we recently moved to a new house,
Ooh.
and so that's been really exciting. Even though moving should be really stressful, we're like practically just moving like 2 to 3 minutes away from our current house. So it's been like really nice to like just be in a new space and like a new change is always nice because I think that's the other thing. It's just been like 4 months of the same thing over and over again. So this is like a nice new change that's happening. So that's really exciting for us. And then like putting up the Christmas tree is exciting in the new house, because it's like you get to figure out where you want to put it and like have all those things and stuff like that.
I think that's a nice part of the holidays is, and also moving, right? It doesn't have to be new, doesn't always have to be scary. And I think making new traditions and new places can be like really refreshing, and like a good change. And that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other thing is I think I struggled a lot with like placement because I felt like I wasn't doing enough at my placement too. So that was really stress inducing for me. And then after like finally like being like, oh, this is the end of my placement for this term, and then reflecting on what I've done, I just felt like I wasn't doing enough, or like it didn't do enough, just with like, I guess me as a person, like I want to do a lot and like be able to showcase and have like an end goal for wherever I work. And I think it comes with the fact that I've done some like a lot of co-op opportunities that I've done. It's been like 4 months. So it's been like 4 months, 5 like full-time work. So I have like something to show after the end of 4 months. But now I don't have anything to show. It's just more so I'm learning, but I'm learning so much. And so having that break, I just feel like I haven't done enough, like reflecting on it. And because of like our end of term has came so fast, like that's something I've been nervous about too.
Yeah, because it's stretched out, right? Only half your time is allocated to that. I think you make a good point though, and I don't think it's wrong or selfish to want to excel in what you do. I think, but it's also important, like you said, to notice when it does become overwhelming, when it does become stressful. I'm wondering, what are some things that you notice in yourself when you've realized you've reached that point of like, I am overwhelmed, I've kind of reached my max here, I need to take a step back? What does that look like for you?
I think okay, so there's a lot of things. One thing is like buying a lot more stuff.
Online shopping.
for like that instant satisfaction, because for me, I'm so stressed because I've been like putting in so much work and like feeling like there's nothing to show for it. And then I'm like, it's fine. Like I did so much. I'm going to reward myself with this. But really it's just momentary satisfaction, because then it stresses me out more that I spent money. So that's a way that I can tell that I'm really stressed out. Something is just like the relationships that I have with the people around me, like my roommates. When I'm like very stressed out, I am a lot more quiet. I'm not like as energetic as I usually am. I'm more tired, and like so instantly you can tell the communication between like my roommates and I, the relationship between the people I surround myself with is completely different because my mood is so different. It's when it's down, because I'm like the high, like my normal mood is so high that when I'm so down, it's like such a polar opposite.
I think that's interesting too, right? Because you mentioned having that like high baseline, but with high highs come low lows, right?
Yeah.
Neither of those areas are always beneficial. And it's finding that like center area where you can feel confident and comfortable, and like you notice those really happy moments and you can cherish them. And then when you are in those low moments, you can kind of pinpoint that and focus on self-care and focus on the things that make you feel good about yourself to bring you back to that center. But yeah, burnout is something that is very real. And I think that is something not a lot of people talk about in social work. And so that's important to notice in yourself. And to come up with strategies on how to identify it. And, who are some of your supports that you would think, like off the bat, who are like your go-to people?
Definitely. So someone that I've gotten more comfortable with is my supervisor. We always make sure to do like a one-on-one check-in at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of the day too, so like 9:30 in the morning when we start work. We every week we do a weekly update, and I've been more comfortable sharing things with him, and it's been really helpful because like I shared the fact that I was feeling like I wasn't doing a lot at the agency, and he was very supportive. He's like, I can see that you've been doing a lot more, and sometimes like these things, like there is no goal especially at social work agency, like there's really no goal sometimes. It's more so just like you just continuously do it and you don't see the goal for like months or years sometimes.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not about that. It's like a lot about learning. And this term is about learning more than anything else. So like he's been a very big support. And then obviously my roommates have been a really big support. I think the other issue for me is like they are a big support for me when I talk it out with them. But then it's like getting to talk to them. It's like sometimes I just don't bottle it up, and I'm like, if I talk about it, it's like actually real, it's like reality. So then I would stop myself from doing that, but then that's a big issue on its own because I prevent myself from communicating with my bigger support system that I have, which is my roommates, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like you have a good diverse group of people. But yeah, I think that you are very self-aware and that like you don't want to talk about it sometimes because that makes it real and that makes my issues and the things I'm worried about or anxious for a reality. And I think that can be a very important thing when it comes to feeling overwhelmed as a starting point. Like that can be one of those small moments that you can use to decompress. Okay, so immediately following our interview, I think it went well. Going back to some of our basic interviewing skills, I think I showed pretty decent attending skills in asking pretty open questions. Letting her fully go through all of her points and using a lot of silence. I think my body language showed that I was engaged. I think I showed active listening skills in how I rephrased some questions and rephrased answers. I tried to empathize with a lot of what she was saying. We didn't plan anything before we went in. We kind of talked about things that were naturally coming up for us around this time of year and the end of the semester, and so it felt really genuine. I think I did a good job in summarizing a lot of what she was telling me. I asked questions that I felt were open. I think at some points there were some that could have potentially been a little leading. We had a natural, like, organic conversation, I think. A lot of invitational empathy was used in, like, a lot of the questions I asked. She was really good at being self-aware and, like, saying how she was feeling for a lot of it. And so I think invitational empathy and, like, asking questions to go a little deeper into some of the feelings that she was having and some of the things that she was like mentioning in short spurts, and I wanted to go a little deeper into them. I think some areas for improvement would potentially be not asking any leading questions or honing in more on the fact that this is a journey for us to go through together. And although this was a very like organic and naturally occurring conversation, I think allowing that like quiet space to happen and to like not always need to fill in silence, I think that can be an important aspect in interviewing.